Good morning, everybody.
Hey,
Or actually, good afternoon to you guys. Good morning, everybody.
hey,
Hey, Jonathan,
Yes, sir.
could you get me on the list so I could speak at the hearing or the public thing for the I forget, block 59 or whatever it's called?
oh, you're
Yeah.
close, Chip. Yeah, 57.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chip, can I ask you, is it this for the planning commission meeting or council or both?
I don't know. I was just asked if I could, give my 2 cents worth to whoever, however.
So you have those options. We have planning commission this coming Wednesday, which you can speak at. And also the next city council meeting on the 11th, I think, is going to be speaking of this.
Okay, I think it was a planning session, the planning meeting that they're talking about on the 7th. What time is that meeting?
6 o'clock?
Wonder, isn't it on the 6th?
It is
Okay,
Wednesday,
Yeah.
the 6th. Mhm.
Okay. And it's
Wednesday, the planning, I'll speak to it for a second. The planning commission meeting, Chip, is on this Wednesday, April 6th at 6 p.m. And
Okay.
then we go to council hearing next Monday, April 11th, and that's at 7 p.m.
Okay,
And if you are willing and able to support us, we would love you to do that at both meetings.
I would love to do that. It's definitely a needed project.
Thank you.
yeah,
So,
I'm glad to hear that, Chip. That'd be great.
yeah, wonder if you could sign me up for the planning commission one. And I think that you sent me a Zoom link to that, didn't you?
It wouldn't have come from me. It would have come
Well,
from
no, not from
Jerry.
you, Linda. I'm sorry.
Hey, Wonder, can you sign me up as well? I was going to shoot you an email.
I don't
It's
know who's
Lindsay
talking
with
right now.
CCDC.
Okay, so.
Yeah, the
okay,
link,
mhm.
the link,
So
sorry,
if-
Wonder.
Okay.
Hey,
So
Carla,
if you
maybe
guys
Wonder
want
can handle
to-
this part since she's the clerk.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify that the link that was sent out, you should use the link that you get from Wonder.
Yeah, let's let Wonder handle it.
Oh, okay. Wonder if you could send me a link, then that'd be appreciated.
Sure. So if you're going to come in person, there's going to be a sign up sheet. That's how you're going to sign up for public comments. If you're doing remote, then shoot me an email so I can make sure I email you guys the correct link to do so. My email is cityclerk@idahospringsco.com. And please do that. Well, as soon as possible for planning, but for council, you need to get a hold of me by 3 p.m. that day. So next Monday for council, but for planning, as soon as you can let me know and I can get you that good link so you're able to comment.
Okay, thank you, Wonder.
Sure thing.
Hey, I was going to go with Jonathan to start us off. Do you have anything new?
We do. We're working through the things that we have been working on. The common dining area passed its first reading at the last council meeting, so that'll come up again. And we're going to try to do a little bit of education around that topic. One of the really important things for that is the security plan. And as you guys know from participating in this conversation, that's the part that makes the marketplace look like it is now. And so if you have any feedback, I just talked to Steve about this today, but if you have any other feedback for your area that you'd like to consider, this is a really good time to bring forward ideas and thoughts if you have anything. I was supposed to meet with Sadie on Friday and we blew it at the city, but we still intend to do that as soon as possible to talk about special events on the marketplace. Our goal is to get that underway so everything's ready and they are good to go ISMA for programming and all of that kind of stuff. Sadie, I don't know if you want to talk to this. We want to make sure that everything that is brought forward is obviously good with business owners. And I think the ISMA has had conversations internal to that. But if you have any ideas for events or you have anything you'd like to do, this is a good time to have that conversation as well. Other than that, I think we're pretty much starting to focus on summer. One thing I wanted to mention is flowers will be coming soon. And by soon, I mean in June, but just thinking about it from a planning perspective. This year, we're going to be a little limited on who can help with those flowers from some of the people who have for a long time. If you have people that'd be willing to help us out, I would really appreciate it. It usually is a pretty fun day, and we can make it a pretty cool thing. So if you're interested or you have staff that would be interested, I'd love to start talking to those folks and get that thing set up and ready to go. Other than that, I think that's about it. I do have one item that needs to come to the city first, and it just deals with the stage for 4th of July and how we want to handle that. But that's a conversation for business owners too. I know we have some concerts coming up, and I just want to see if we might be able to schedule some time to talk about how we handle stage in the future.
All right, thanks, Jonathan. I'm gonna go around the room, see how everybody's doing. Oh, sorry, Andy.
Just one thing to add to what John reported. As he mentioned, the communal dining ordinance, which would enable us to continue basically doing what we've done the last 2 summers in the marketplace on Minor Street. That was introduced at first reading. We are going to have a work session with City Council on Monday, April 18th at 6 o'clock. Everyone's welcome to attend, either virtually or in person. Some of the questions that came up at the council meeting on first reading, we think there's still needs to be some clarity as to how this would work. What is the desire of the downtown property owners and business owners? We did state that the intent was to continue it basically the way it was last 2 years, with the exception of maybe an occasional special event, music, for instance, where we might have a communal area and you could have you could carry a drink outside the typically designated areas by businesses. So I think there's just needs to be a little more discussion about that with council, a little more understanding, a little more education, which is understandable because when you hear communal dining areas, I think the question 2 or more businesses having to sponsor it, the question comes up, okay, how is this going to be managed? What's security? And we all know there has to be a security plan in place, and we have a first draft of that. So the security plan will be also discussed. We'll have a good draft at that meeting on the 18th for council. It'll be in the packet, and that'll be reviewed as well. And we want to make sure everyone is informed and is comfortable with what's being proposed. As we all know, the stakes are pretty high because we need this ordinance to pass on schedule in order to continue doing what we did the last 2 years. So it's important that we have this work session where we can have some discussion, air any concerns, and then the second reading is the last meeting of this month, and then it's 30 days until it becomes effective. So it's right before Memorial Weekend. So I just wanted to not raise the flag, but I'll just let you all know that I think some support from businesses and property owners downtown would be helpful to be a part of that conversation, and just make sure we're all on board with how we're proceeding here. So I just wanted to give that a little extra comment there. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Sadie.
So that work session, to clarify for those, if we attend in person, that this is just us showing support. There's no public comment at work sessions or anything like that, or is council looking for the business owners? And again, the ISMA and the Chamber of Commerce are becoming one organization. So should the Chamber ISMA come to represent the minor business owners? How exactly, Andy's clarify for me, please?
Sure. And the mayor might want to comment on this as well. Generally, as you know, at work sessions, it's not for public comment. Although occasionally council will, the mayor may ask someone for their opinion or for some input on a particular topic. But generally, it's a time for council to have discussion, have agenda items, bring people in and discuss their agenda items, things like that. What I might suggest, Sadie, and I haven't talked with John about this, so hopefully I'm not surprising him with it, but I know we need to reschedule that meeting with you that was to be Friday. if we can get that scheduled pretty quickly here, I think what we might want to consider is adding you to the agenda on, and we had talked about this before, add you to the work session agenda on the 18th to provide an update for ISMA, what's planned, some of the changes that are being proposed, that sort of thing. I think that might work pretty well. So then you're on the agenda, and you will have a chance to have some conversation with council. So I think that might work well if the timing works out well from our conversation that we need to reschedule here.
Yeah, definitely. Steve?
So the timeline you gave of being just open by Memorial Day weekend, currently we're closing at 9 on the 9th and opening on the 13th. Does that mean that timeline is going to change? Because I don't know if we want to open up without being able to sell alcohol in the street.
We should still be covered by the law that's sunsetting in the in-between time. We're covered by the COVID from last year. That ends at the end of May. That sunsets the last day of May. So the first day of June would be when the new, our new city ordinance would take over to run that. But till the end of May, we have that COVID rule. So we don't need to change our timeline at all, as long as we stay on track. So to that point, Andy, John and I are going to try to meet tomorrow, John. Yeah, John and I are going to try to meet tomorrow in person and hammer out everything that I sent you. I did send you and Jared and John that email that has everything listed that's been talked about. And then John and I will get me on the agenda, and I will make sure that the minor street business owners that are not on the call right now know that the work session on the 18th would be important to be in attendance of, either virtually or in person. So I will make sure an email goes out to all the minor district business owners affected by this change.
Thank you.
Sadie, thank you. I think that'd be great. So we're just gonna continue around. Kent, good to see you. How's business?
It's going great. Thanks. We're all going to California wine country for the rest of the week tomorrow for training.
All right.
So
All right,
excited
good to
to come
hear.
back and help.
All right, very well. Carla, gonna be a big week ahead, that's for sure. The next in 7-10 days be very important, as Chip was alluding to. Did you have anything else?
I do not have anything else. I think, we're hopeful that we have worked with the city, and the city has worked with us very well to create a plan that we feel is very doable for everybody. So we're hoping for the best. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a hot topic, and if folks will step in and speak to the need for this, it definitely would help. But, glad to hear we're finally getting there.
Yeah, I am too.
And Dr. Terry, some changes over there, and I just wanted to know if you would update folks about what's going on there. Well, while we're waiting, Stephanie, how's business?
There we go, unmuting. It was a little softer than last year, but last year we just opened up for indoor dining comparatively. So kind of just taking it in stride and seeing, what the next week's gonna bring. I feel like we're heading into a little bit earlier mud season, even though resorts are still open. But so I feel like maybe business is gonna be a little bit soft for the next 4 weeks, and then we're gonna go gangbusters.
All right, good to hear. Chip, how are things going?
Things are going pretty well, and Alex is on the call, so she can kind of comment a lot better than I can.
Oh, good.
What's going day to day. I do compare our numbers though, you know, this year compared to last year, and then also compared to pre-COVID. And the numbers this week were pretty interesting. We actually did better last year for the week than we did this year. And last year was actually stronger than the pre-COVID number. So again, a lot of that has to do with what the traffic is looking like, what the weather's like, what the skiing conditions are like, and so forth. That's a huge aspect. Well, I've got the floor. I would like to ask one question though. As far as the common dining area, is that going to be including the sidewalks then? So that's the sidewalk area in front of the restaurants can be included in the dining?
Yeah, Jonathan.
Mayor, I was just asking if I could answer the question. That's part of the consideration. We're creating the entire area will be eligible. And so all we need to do is make sure there's ADA access around that area, and that we can accomplish either with ramping, or if maybe it's not necessary. I'm not 100% sure, depending on the plan, where it will be necessary. But generally, we're trying to make it as easy as possible to serve in your area. So if you've got an idea that you think might work, we can figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
Chip, Alex and I did connect and talk about Alex getting a plan together to submit to the city. So we did have a couple of brief conversations about that as well. So it's up to each individual restaurant, how they want to design their area and space to present it to the city.
Okay, I just didn't know exactly how that had transpired. I wasn't able to join these meetings the last few weeks, so I wasn't totally in the loop.
All right.
So Chip, you would need to, any interested businesses that want to activate their sidewalks, include that in their areas. There would be, you need to update your plan. So, and this is a new, this would be a new step, this would be a big change. And I think, as Sadie said, any businesses that are interested in this, as soon as you can, get us your proposal, get it to Wonder, and let us know what your plan is, that you'd like to change it to include using the sidewalk. And as John mentioned, I think it was John, how you would maintain access, ADA access to neighboring businesses. That'll be the main consideration. So I think if we can show that you're including the sidewalk does not adversely impact your neighbors and the flow of people, pedestrians, then I don't think it'll be an issue. But as soon as you can get us, we'd love to try the concept. I think that's the thought, is that it makes sense. We'd like to head that direction, but we're looking for a few brave businesses to make a proposal, and we should talk with council about it on the 18th. Make sure council's good with it as well. But it's consistent with our the spirit of the downtown master plan, I believe, and eventually we'd like to get to that stage. But so we just take incremental steps, and I think that's a way to go, and see what works and what doesn't. So yes, the answer is yes, but it would need to get some review and be approved.
All right, great. Thank you so much for the input.
Sure.
Hey, Jonah, good to see you on the call. Any updates for us?
Yeah, so we are pretty much done with framing at this point. So tomorrow, our electrical, plumbing, HVAC people are coming in to start doing all the roughs, which will hopefully get us through first inspection here next week. And then at this point, we're targeting June for sometime in June for opening. That would, I think we've been working with Sadie, working with Frothy Cup and Amanda, and working with Soap Shop to kind of get all our supplies ordered up and ready to go. And then we just finished up our online property management system and reservation booking system demos last week. So we should be making those selections this week. so that we can start getting those configured, so we can get people, so we can get the reservation system opened up and start taking reservations. I believe our target is first week of May, which will be quite the moment when things really start getting real.
Well, that sounds really good. You know, what a major undertaking, and what a nice asset it's going to be for the city. So glad to see that that moving along. I won't inquire right now, but I think probably all of us would like to know, well, maybe next meeting or two, what your rates are, just to turn our friends on, you know, when you have a reservation system. You probably haven't had a chance to look at that yet, but when you do, please share it with us.
No, I did just actually put together the model based
Really?
off of competition in Georgetown and in Idaho Springs. We're trying to make sure that we're targeted kind of well within, you know, kind of the market there, so that we're not coming out as, you know, the most expensive place in the county to stay the night. But we did a walkthrough this weekend of kind of saying, okay, what size bed goes in this room and kind of what's the orientation, all that stuff, so that we're kind of putting our, you know, kind of what's our most expensive room versus what's our cheapest room. So we have that all laid out. I put the model together just last night. It's being reviewed by the team. So maybe by the next meeting, I can start sharing some of that information, give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek there.
Oh, that's great. You know, I know we're all curious, so I'm glad to hear that. Carla, I see your hands up.
I'm curious, Jonah, do you guys have a splash page or a website started or anything that we can start to drive people to?
Oh, yes, absolutely. If you go to, I'll type it in the comments as well, but in the Club Hotel Colorado, we've already got 36 people signed up for our newsletter. So we're more than happy to get as many more people as possible to get in there, sign up for the newsletter, and we'll start posting some newsletters here by the end of this month, kind of doing the countdown to opening information there. So that should be an easy place to go. I think like the reservation system and the rooms and everything like that will be posted up on that website, you know, within 4 weeks after we sign the contract with the PMS system.
Excellent.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, Carla, glad you asked that question. Hey, Steve, how's business?
Well, pretty kind of mimicked what Stephanie said. We're just a little bit off of last year, not too much, but we're definitely off of 2019. So I don't know what was going on in 2018 for spring break, but our numbers are pretty much 20% higher in 2018. And I could tell something was going on because I went to the mountains on Saturday morning during peak skier traffic and there was no traffic. It was strange. The weather's getting nicer, so we're having a lot more dogs bring their people in. So that was going to be one of my questions is what is the dog policies of other restaurant people? It's really hard to say no to these cute dogs bringing in these people. We have our outside area, which gets filled up pretty quick, but and we're pretty lenient. And I know all the regulations between asking about the service dog stuff is you pretty much can't flush them out very easily. You know, Chip, what do you guys do?
I gotta be honest with you, dogs in the restaurant scare me. It's just a liability issue. We've had issues where, you know, we're in a patio, the enclosed patio and that, you get a couple of dogs in there and I totally understand. I you know, I wish, but yeah, it scares me unless they're actually a service dog and they've got a specific thing that they're a service dog for. I mean, they got a lot of service dogs or alleged service dogs out there, but most of them aren't. Yeah, I think I mean, we have had a server that's gotten bitten by a dog in the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's just like, it's not worth it to me. I love.
Stephanie?
their-
Stephanie, I don't know if you still can hear this, but if.
Yeah, I sure can, Steve. So ours are basically outside only. Again, if they tell me it's a service dog, I'm gonna believe them. And that's kind of where we stand with it. Because I've been on the other side where I'm like, well, what kind of service does it perform? Because you can ask certain questions and it just ends up not being very good for either party.
Yeah. I also have Mike Hill sitting here next to me. He was asking me a bunch of questions about the open container common dining. He organizes the cornhole tournaments. So when it's appropriate, he'd like to ask a question, how that affects him before this session ends.
So, Mike, I will address like a lot of those questions once you and I have met, because you and I need to chat a little bit about some of the specifics for us, and then I need to meet with John before I meet with you to answer your questions.
Right.
That's why I rescheduled today. But John, maybe you have something.
I'll go ahead, John.
Oh, just because Mike's here, we had talked last summer about ESPN tournament maybe, or something like that, or some kind of big tournament. Is that still something we could do?
Tournament. Oh, I'm sorry, can you state that, please?
We had talked last summer briefly about like trying to get ESPN here for a tournament, or do like just a large tournament, like a big scale pro thing. Is that something that's possible, or is it?
What actually it is, I've been talking, so I play quite a bit of cornhole and I with a lot of different groups. I've been talking to them about possibly coming up here for an event, and they're very receptive to coming up here for an event. The only issue is that where would we do it? And I've kind of contacted Empire, and because they have a child park there and a dog park and the whole nine thing there, they're receptive. The problem here is that these people, a lot of them will bring their children or their animals with them. And we don't really have a place other than the ballpark to do that, but there's nothing for the kids to do there.
I have some ideas that maybe we could talk about offline, but
Okay.
I would love that to be in Idaho Springs if possible. Maybe
I
could
would love
just-
for it too,
Okay.
but just how? That's logistically how. I
We
mean,
have
we got the
Water
space, but where are we gonna put the kids?
We've got Water Wheel Park and we've got some things around, and I think we might be able to come up with an idea. But maybe if
Okay.
we talk about, maybe we could talk with Sadie and.
I was gonna say, Mike and I are meeting on Thursday at 1. If you want to pop into that meeting, we're gonna be at my shop Thursday at 1 to
Okay.
chat about the cornhole season, so on the market. So if you want to pop to that, then we can kind of, because I know Mike had talked about wanting to do a couple of tournaments. So that was in my email that I sent to you guys as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that
Perfect.
sounds good. And of course, I would just echo that sentiment. We would love to have it here if there's a way we can make that happen.
I would
So
love
we'll-
for it to be here personally.
Yeah, we'll look forward to touching base with you a little on that.
Okay, so I'll get with you guys after I talk to Sadie.
Hey, I'd like to go to Lindsay over at CCEDC. How are things going?
Hi, everybody. So let's see, on the Two Brothers front, looked at 2019 numbers and we're still down. We're about at around 80% of 2019. So
Wow.
I think a lot of that, when Alta passed away, we struggled to find a manager that was the right fit. And had some really bad management in there. So we're building that back up, have a great person in there now who's going to be long-term, but yeah, we're just I'm a broken record here, but we're the type of business where people pull up, grab their food and they leave. 80% of our business is grab and go, versus actual sitting. And so if people are having to park and walk to our place, they're more likely to go, if they're taking the time to park and walk, they're going to go sit down at a table and eat. So, unfortunately, I'm still not behind the street closure anytime during the year, because it does hurt us even in the summertime. And so, that's just my opinion. And I know it's helping a lot of other businesses. So we're doing the best that we can. But again, we're still at about 80%. Hopefully I have better things to report in the next couple of months and going into summer.
All right. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. Gonna try Dr. Terry one more time just to see what's new, if you're on.
Hi, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, you sound
Okay,
good.
perfect. Yeah, so I don't really have too many updates. I have a lot of irons in the fire and lots of things that I'm working on right now, but no real changes or announcements from last week. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Going to Janine, how are things? How are things going? Well, would anybody else like to add anything else before we sign off? Hey, well, I really appreciate everybody's time. Another good call and look forward to having some updates the next time. Definitely some interesting developments. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you all real soon. Jonathan, Andy, you got anything before I sign off? All right. Well, thanks a lot, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.